Thank you. Welcome to Boots on the Ground. We are going to be doing a class on protesting 201, taking it to the streets. And I am really excited to give you the information you need to protest effectively and safely. We're going to start with our mission statement like we do every meeting. Ray, if you could go to the next slide. Mission statement. Boots on the Ground was created to bring all members of the leather, fetish, and kink communities together to fight against the tyranny and oppression taking over the United States. We will fight so that we retain the inalienable rights given to us by the U.S. Constitution. We will educate ourselves to know how our democracy works. We will make calls, attend commission meetings, protest, march, create connection, and build community. Democracy will not die while we watch. We will fight and we will win. Next slide. Now we're going to do a land acknowledgement. I want to do this land acknowledgement, but I also want to recognize the fact that this is a very poor excuse for not giving land back. And until reparations of some time are made, this is performative. But I feel it's important to do it. So Boots on the Ground recognizes that we reside on lands once inhabited and held sacred by the first peoples. For nearly 10,000 years, indigenous groups lived in South Florida. The Teguesta, Miccosukee, Seminole, Muskogee, and Taino peoples once lived in what we call Broward County. These distinct indigenous communities were, among many others in South Florida, considered ancestors of the present-day federally recognized Seminole Tribe of Florida and Miccosukee Tribe of Indians of Florida. I encourage all to learn about the significance and the sacrifice of these early inhabitants. With a collective knowledge of the past, we are inspired to teach, live, and support a future that empowers all individuals. Next slide, please, Ray. Now, if you want to stay informed, but you don't want to read the 24/7 news cycle, trust me, I don't blame you. That's why I do the Lace Up and Learn weekly newsletter. It is a collection of short paragraphs of the news of the week, so you can stay informed without being inundated with all of the news that's coming out of Washington. This newsletter focused primarily on the politics, some on environmental, and definitely on the protesting that's going on against the Trump regime. If you are interested, go to botgfl.com and sign up under the newsletter tab. All right, and I'd also like to take this time to thank. Usually Will and Sylvie are here being my crew in the Eagle, but they are traveling right now, and Carol is here helping me out being our Zoom. So thank you, Carol. I also want to thank Infinity Angel for allowing us to use their Zoom. And Allie for helping me with all of the wonderful graphics we produce. And then Chuck and Greg here at the Eagle for allowing us this space. I appreciate each and every one of you, and thank you for doing the work with me. All right, next slide, please. We are now at the class portion, protesting 201, taking it to the streets. So, next slide, please, Ray. We are going to talk about why protesting is important. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, does protesting really matter? It absolutely does. When we are out there in force, like we were just out there for No Kings last week, we had 7 to 8 million people. That is the largest protest against a sitting president in our history. That it changes the conversation in the United States about what is going on with our country. Because my favorite signs are, I'm an introvert and you know it's bad when I'm out here. Because even those people that don't normally protest, that don't normally go out in the streets, that don't normally make signs, they are making signs. They are taking time off work. They are standing and marching and doing the work for hours at a time. because they want to say yes to democracy and no to authoritarianism. So protesting is important. It is vital. And it also, when you are out there protesting, it gives one hope. I love protesting. I went to the No Kings protest at Boca City Hall, and I loved it because there was so much honking of people, going yes and fight the power and honking their horns as they passed by. It felt electric. The energy was wonderful. I made new protest friends. We chanted, we sang songs. It was a party, and it was effective. We had probably a mile down each side of the road going up. It was amazing. And big cities, Chicago had 250,000 protesters. New York City showed up in a big way. And then small red areas showed up. There might have been 50 or 100 people in Idaho and Nebraska and places you don't think of as traditionally blue states. But they are also saying no to this authoritarian takeover of our democracy. And that is why we protest. That is why we do this, to give hope to all of us that we can break this grasp of this wannabe dictator on our country. All right, next slide, please. Why protest works. So if you're new to protesting or you're more experienced, you are doing it for one reason. You know our rights aren't a fetish. They are fundamental. In this era of autocratic breakthrough where the wannabe dictator tries to crush opposition and make resistance feel futile, protesting says we are not powerless and we can fight you and we can win. It's not just noise. It changes the way our country talks about our government and about what is going on in our country. Massive shows of opposition shatter that aura of inevitability. Trump is not Thanos, for those of my geeky friends out there that love the Avengers series. Thanos was a god who basically snapped his fingers and half the people in the universe disappeared. Trump doesn't have that kind of power. He cannot do that. He is disappearing people left and right with his draconian immigration policies, but he cannot disappear the 7 to 8 million people that marched against him. And he is not inevitable. Only Thanos was inevitable. History proves that protesting for change works. ACT UP did a wonderful job for getting AIDS on national radar, getting the President Reagan at the time, to actually say the word AIDS. That was a big part due to the massive protests, especially put on by ACT UP. Another way that protest has worked, after the hands-off protests back in April, Georgetown University law students that were graduating, they were saying, there was a lot of law firms that were capitulating to Trump and paying him money and making deals with him saying, we'll do what you want us to do. And those Georgetown law students stood up and say, we're not going to your firm if you are going to support the Trump regime. And they didn't. And that sends a message. Nowadays, universities are refusing to sign the Trumpian order that says if you sign this order restricting LGBTQ and trans and letting ICE come on your property and do immigration kidnappings, we'll give you preferential treatment for funding. And you know what? Most of the big universities have said absolutely not. And the only one that has so far was in Texas. So what can you expect? So it does work. It fosters community. Like I said, when I go to a protest, I love meeting people. And with boots on the ground, I'm going to start getting protest groups together so that we can protest together. So be on the lookout for the next big protest and a boots on the ground coalition near you. It spreads courage. You feel courageous. When you're out there with 1,000, 2,000, 10,000, 100,000 people, you feel that energy and you feel, I can make a difference. That courage is contagious, and you're going to bring that energy back to your community where you do the work. It draws in new folks. I've already had a couple of people reach out to me saying, Karen, I want to go to the next protest with you. Let me know. Because they want to be in on that movement that we are building, one protester at a time. Power, yes.
The audio is breaking up.
The audio is breaking up. Let's try this. Let's see if that works. Let me know if it's still a problem. Thanks for letting me know about the audio. It draws in new folks, like I said, and the power comes from the people. So the power is coming from all those people that marched and stood and waved signs and wore inflatable animal costumes. Let's hear it for the Portland Frog.
Yay!
Yay! Now, protests have toppled empires and they have sparked joy. Let's hear it for the Portland Frog again. Yes.
Yay!
So, and we do dances at rallies. We sing songs. We chant. It is joyful. So today we're going to not just talk about the good parts. We're going to talk about the strategy of protesting. We are disrupting the regime's projection of strength, that aura of inevitability. We're building muscle for collective action. We are finding our people and we are protesting together. And we are reminding everyone that when we stand together, we are winning. Now, remember that when you protest, you are part of something bigger. You are part of the movement, because that's what we are building, is a movement, because only a movement that is large and goes to every aspect of society is going to topple the Trump regime. All right, next slide, please, Ray. All right, now we're going to talk about what we're gonna wear. Let's play protest stylist. All righty. Now, I am going to say a lot of things during this class. I got a lot of good information for you. You need to decide your risk profile and how you feel comfortable presenting yourself and how you feel comfortable going to an in-person protest. I know a lot of my trans and non-binary friends do not go to protests. They don't feel safe there. I know immigrant friends that will not go to a protest because they're afraid of ICE. So if your profile says, this is not a safe space for me, listen to your gut. And you know what? We got it. If you want to protest, look at my class, Protesting 101, Ways to Protest, because there are a ton more ways. And in January, for our next class, it's going to be Protesting 301, Economic Boycotts and Ethical Consumerism. So we're going to hit them where it hurts in the pocketbook. All right, but I am going to give you best practices for what to do at an in-person protest. Your choice of how to do it. Now, first, nondescript, solid color clothing. You want to blend in. If everybody's got a t-shirt, like an indivisible t-shirt or a shirt that is part of a bigger group, wear the t-shirt, blend in. If you have bright colored hair, put it under a hat or a beanie. Cover your tattoos and your scars, because these are all identifying marks. Remember, this is best practices. I am a cisgender white woman. My name is Karen, so of course I live in the suburbs. I protest in suburban areas. I don't protest in big cities. So I wear rainbow dresses like I'm wearing today to protest. I am showing up for the LGBTQ community, and I will wear a rainbow dress to every protest I go to. However, if you want to stay more nondescript, stick with the darker colored clothes, or in Florida with the heat, you can stick with a lighter color, maybe gray, but try to blend in with the crowd. Now, the next thing, I love bringing this because I do love gas masks. Now, we've talked about gas masks before, and this is where they can come in handy having them in your protest bag. Now, with a gas mask, this is set up for play right now because I can just cover this and cut off somebody's air. However, if I'm going to a protest, I am taking this part, which is the respirator part that filters out any tear gas or pepper spray. Okay? So remember, if you want to wear your gas mask, make sure you have a working respirator so that it will be effective and not just look really hot. Okay? The other thing you want to do if you don't have a gas mask, bring goggles. Do not wear contacts because if any pepper spray or tear gas gets behind your contacts, you can actually cause damage to your eyes. So leave the contacts at home, wear your glasses. Have goggles that go over your glasses, a mask, N95, you can wear a bandana, anything that would cover your mouth and nose, okay? They are going to offer limited protection if you get gas, but it's better than nothing. All right. Heat-resistant gloves. If they are throwing cans of tear gas at you and you try to pick it up and throw it back, guess what? That sucker is hot. You don't want to pick it out without heat-resistant gloves. So if you are the kind that wants to do that kind of hero move and throw a tear gas canister back at the police, wear heat-resistant gloves. But remember, we always want to protest non-violently because the government is looking for any excuse they can get to put the Insurrection Act into effect. The Insurrection Act would give the president leeway over putting the National Guard into our cities. And you know what? The No Kings protest, there was not one across all 50 states and the rest of the world, not one pro-democracy protester was arrested. And that is the power of nonviolent protest. So keep that in mind. I understand the urge, and in the heat of the moment, you might do something, but we have got to keep our heads because we are a very short step away from a total dictatorship. And we need to stay nonviolent. Wear comfortable closed-toed shoes. Sneakers are fine. If you're a boots on the ground member, boots are better. Show your pride and have a good way to get away if there's problems. I have heard a lot of people say, if there is trouble, sit down. Do not sit down. You can't get away. You walk away as fast as you can. If you need to, you run, but be careful if you run that you don't trip, because you don't want to be trampled, and that's a big thing, okay? So be careful if you have to get away from danger, and having comfortable closed-toed shoes is one of the ways to do that. Now, if you want to have some bonus fun for your protest stylists, wear a pin. Wear, trans rights are human rights, or, Trump is a cunt. Whatever, wear a little bit of flair with your very drab protest outfit to blend in. Let people know that you are on our side. All right, now that we have dressed for the protest and we're looking fabulous, we want to see what we're going to pack in our bag. Now, the first thing we want to talk about is the bag itself. I use a tote bag. However, if you are in a protest where you're worried there's going to be any kind of violence, one of those drawstring nylon backpacks they have are great, because what you're going to put in there is going to be, if it gets taken away, it's not going to be the end of the world. So if somebody drags you by that backpack, you can just put your arms down and the backpack will slide right off. It's a very easy way to keep your stuff safe, okay? So we're going to want to put water in that backpack. We are going to want to put lots of water. Some protests have safety patrols that hand out water and drinks and snacks. Some don't. Always err on the side of caution and bring yourself water. Hydrate the day before. If you're going to be out, protesting in Florida during the summer was no joke. No Kings was fantastic. We had a little bit of a cool breeze there sometimes, and I loved it. But make sure you hydrate the day before, because even if it's not too hot, you might get dehydrated. You want to make sure you're hydrated. Snacks, protein bars, nuts, granola bars. Bring for yourself and bring a snack to share. If somebody has a low blood sugar, have a little something for them. You're going to make friends when you're protesting, and it's good to support each other in the community and in the fight. ID, cash, and essentials. Now, I always put my pill box in there. If I get arrested, I always think, because I am bipolar and I have epilepsy, and I want my pills. So if I get arrested, I want to make sure I have access to them. So I put just my whole pill box in my bag, and that way I have all my pills ready to go. Okay. However, my ID and my cash, I do not put in my backpack, because remember, if somebody grabs it and we have to let it go, we don't want our ID and cash in there, because they're going to go bye-bye. Also, your keys, you want to put them all in your pocket or on your person. You do not want to put it in your backpack, so that if everything else goes away, you at least have your ID, some cash, a credit or debit card, and your keys. Okay, those go on your person. Protest signs. Of course, I have a Cricut, which is a die cutting machine. I love to make my own protest signs. It's one of my favorite things to do. My last protest sign said "Rage Against the Regime," and the other side said "Fuck ICE," and it was in a Disney font, because I live in Florida. And yes, I chose a Disney font, because you know what? When you have "Fuck ICE" in a Disney font, chef's kiss. So, emergency contacts. I've talked about this before. If you're going to a protest, don't just have your emergency contacts in your phone. Write it on your leg, your arm in Sharpie, so that it's not going anywhere. Okay? I usually write it on my thigh. I write my lawyer's number, my father's number I have memorized. My dad may be a Trump supporter, but I know he won't let me sit in jail. So if I need it, I know it by heart. Either memorize it, or better yet, write it on your body. Now, pro tip, if you are going to protest with other people, make a safety plan. When you get to the protest, you're going to say, if we get separated, we're going to meet here. We're going to meet at the car. We're going to meet at the Starbucks, or wherever we're going to meet. If we get separated, let's go there to meet. If you are on a march, make places to meet along the march, so that if you get separated, you have a way. You can call, but we're going to talk about the way to protect your phone in a few minutes. Also, you want to check for exits, how to get out of the way if trouble does start. All right. Also, the other good thing about having a protest buddy is you can do a pre-party. You can hype yourselves up for the protest, thinking about the fact that Elon Musk is out of the government because the Tesla takedowns. They were so effective, they dropped his stock value 70%. It's just now starting to recover moderately. And that was in direct effect to the direct result of the Tesla takedown protests. So, and then let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel and the Disney Plus protests. How many people canceled, and Disney lost $4 billion in the week before they brought Jimmy Kimmel back. So protesting works. That's the economic kind, but all protesting works. All right, now what shouldn't you bring? Leave your jewelry at home. I don't wear my pretty jewelry or my fancy rings or stuff. I leave the jewelry at home. I leave anything at home that if I lose it, hold on one sec. Sorry about that. So let's see, where are we at? Oh, yes. Don't bring anything you don't want to lose. Don't bring anything illegal. Don't bring a gun to a protest. People are like, whoa, I want to be prepared. It is not the place, because if somebody's got a gun, they are meant to do harm. That's fine. That's fine. Don't worry about it. All right. So anyway, don't worry about, hold on just a sec. Don't Okay, anyway, let's just move on. All right, let's talk about protecting yourself now, physically, digitally, and legally. All right, protesting is powerful, but like I said before, create a safety plan, safety first. So we are going to do this as safely as we can. Remember that protesting is not a privilege that everyone has. So if you are privileged enough to be able to protest our government and protest for democracy, understand that I want you to keep yourself safe. You are not vulnerable, you are vigilant. All right, now let's talk about the physical protection. Let's say that you're in a big crowd of people and you're doing a march. Flow with the crowd. Don't try to go against it. If you need to move out of the crowd, people will let you get out. Just be careful about it. If there is a medical emergency, look for a safety lead. They usually have orange or yellow vests on. Watch for agitators and don't engage. So a big one actually, this isn't a big one for Trump's followers. At the No Kings protest, I was there for about an hour and a half, and then I had a South Florida Littles party, so I had to go because I run them. We had 3 anti-protesters, and they wouldn't even stand there. They had to drive by and kept driving by because and that was it. And they had these big Trump flags and American flags. And I'm like, it just shows me what a small penis you have. And if you're not into small penis humiliation, that hurts a Trump supporter. Anyway, watch for those agitators. Don't engage. The most they got was a boo. If they are standing there, don't engage with them. That's what they want. They want you to lose your shit. They want to get it videoed. They want to see the left be as violent as they want to be. Don't let them. Again, nonviolence is the way. All right, respect the organizers. Don't do property damage. If you're protesting in a place, don't break trees, don't break benches, don't break garbage cans. Just be respectful of the property you are protesting on. Now, de-escalation. If you do engage with protesters, I don't recommend it unless you have been trained in de-escalation practices. Okay? I didn't go. There we go. Sorry, I forgot the slides. So if you have not learned how to de-escalate a situation, it's a skill set to have if you want to engage with counter protesters. However, no good's going to come of it. They're not going to change your mind, and you're not going to change theirs. All right, now let's go to the next tab. Digital safety. All right, now we're going to talk about our phone and how we are going to protect it. Encrypt your device. Do not use biometrics. Do not use your face or a thumbprint or a fingerprint. Do not use those, because if you get arrested, the police can open your phone with biometrics. If you have a password, they can't. You can no, I refuse. I refuse to open my phone. And they can't make you. What are they going to do? You're already arrested. So get rid of your biometrics. Install Signal. Signal is like WhatsApp, but better. It scrubs metadata. It's end-to-end encrypted, so nobody else, like the stingrays that the police and police have, that can gather cell phone data out of the air. You can use Signal to chat with your safety lead if they're not at the protest with you, or if they are at the protest with you, and nobody can get a hold of it because it's an end-to-end encryption. Backup data and consider a burner phone. Now, if you are going to take your own phone and you're going to prepare it, back up your data, because if you lose it, what have you, it gets confiscated, you at least haven't lost your data. However, I want you to consider a burner phone. If you are very careful, then I would suggest a burner phone. You can get a $50 phone, and then Helium Mobile gives you a free SIM card You just set, you ask them online and they'll send you a free SIM card. You have to put in an address for the SIM card. I like to put in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, which is the address to the White House. Now, if you call 911 from this, it's going to go to Washington, D.C. That's the reason for it. So if you want to pick something closer to home, go ahead. But I put in 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Now, if you have a burner phone or your phone, keep it off until you get to the protest, because all that data and you're going to turn your location off, and like I said, all biometrics. You're going to put it on airplane mode. You're going to disable Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and location, and you are going to disable 2G. Everybody's like, I got 5G. Why do I need 2G? Well, 2G is, it blocks the cell site simulators, which police use. They act as a false cell tower, and you ping off it. And the police can use that to track you. So turn your 2G off on your burner phone or your personal phone, whichever one you bring. Now, photos and videos. You can take photos and videos with your phone. I love seeing protest signs, and I take pictures at every protest, and then I go home and I scrapbook them, because that's what I do. You can take pictures without unlocking your phone. Most phones will allow you to just take pictures without unlocking. Now, if you are going to post those pictures online, I want you to blur the faces of anybody in your photos. I don't blur my face. That is my choice. But if I'm taking pictures of people and their signs, I blur the face of the people in the pictures, and I usually put a little fist emoji over it, so that people can keep their security and their safety in mind. Now, traveling. Like I said, we're going to keep our phones off while we travel there. Again, location data can be tracked from your home and then picked up through cell towers all the way to your protest. So if you can bike or walk, that is the best. Yes.
John said also beware of location data stored in pictures.
Oh yes, thank you, John. Good to see you. Location data stored on pictures. One of the easiest ways to get rid of that location data, screenshot the picture or send it through Signal, because Signal scrubs the metadata. So therefore, you will then have a fresh picture with no metadata on it.
Okay.
Yes.
Saying that the video on a call is blurred.
On your call?
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like very blurry.
Can you clean your camera?
Right.
Yeah, just use your shirt and clean your camera. So, all right, photos and videos. Oh, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have a choice. All right, let's go. We're going to go to the next slide. All right, legal protection. Know your rights. Now, your legal protections are strongest in public forums like streets and parks. You can record the police. You will see so many videos that say the police, stop recording, stop recording. No, it is your right. And if your rights are violated, you have a case that you will then report to the police department after the protest. Now, if you are protesting on a sidewalk, there is no permit needed. A lot of protests in the area where I live are intersection protests. We take over 4 corners of a busy intersection and we get everybody excited in that quadrant, okay? If you're doing a march, your protesters have already gotten a permit to do it. But if you are doing that or a bridge brigade where you put a sign up in a bridge over like a major highway, those are usually not needed you don't have to have a permit. Now, counter protesters. Like I said, there may be counter protesters at your protest. The police must treat them equally, and they have to keep the groups in sight of sound of each other, but they may separate them for safety. Okay? Dispersal orders by the police. They can be used as a last resort. If there is violence threatening, they may decide to issue a dispersal order. Disperse. There are certain times when I think a more forceful approach is called for. If you're in the middle of a regular protest, that is not the time. If you are stopped by police, stay calm, keep your hands visible. Ask if you are free to leave. If you are arrested, remain silent. Ask for a lawyer. Do not consent to searches. So let's go over that. This is very important. Stay calm, hands visible. Ask if you are free to leave. If you are, leave. If you are arrested, remain silent. Ask for your attorney. Do not consent to searches. And I said that twice because it's very important. If you feel your rights are being violated, note the officer's badge number, their car number, get witnesses. Again, this is where videotaping the police can come in very handy. And then you're going to file a complaint with the Internal Affairs Board of your police department, of whoever violated your rights. Now, post-protest, let's say you get arrested and your phone is confiscated. You're going to talk to an attorney, and you're going to talk to them about two things. Number one, revoking app access, because you should be able to have access if you have your passwords and you've backed up your phone and you've got all the stuff that all your passwords for your Facebook and your Instagram and your TikTok. Go on a computer or another device, revoke the app access for your phone so the police can't get into it. Now, change your password. Now, this is something that you need to talk to an attorney about. You can just change your passwords on all your socials. However, that can be seen as obstruction. So talk to your attorney on if this is the right path for you to choose. All right. Now, action time, types of protests and how to shine. We're going to make the magic happen. Marches are classic. They show, we still have Zoom?
Yeah, and we started screen sharing. Everything is gone. I know it's there.
Okay, don't worry about it. Classic power walks, you chant, you sing, you walk in step, you make friends. Marches are powerful because they show a mass of the country walking through their town, their community, and they're saying, we will not stand for this. Intersection and bridge brigades, like I said, those are very popular here in Florida. We love to go to intersections. I love the bridge brigades over 95. There's a bridge brigade that is on the bridge on Southern Boulevard in Palm Beach County, and it's the bridge that leads to Mar-a-Lago. And guess what? We have bridge brigades there all the time. The most recent one I saw was Release the Epstein Files. So let's keep the pressure on that. Sit-ins and die-ins. Now, these are usually if you're protesting at an institution like the Capitol or your city hall. You can have a sit-in, or like ACT UP did in the 80s, you had die-ins where people would lay dead from AIDS and show the massive loss that came from Reagan's policies. Noise demos. Now, this is one thing I will say for my neurodivergent and sensory sensitive friends. Make sure you have noise canceling headphones. The reason is a lot of protests get very, very loud. People bring bells, cowbells. They have megaphones, And we scream and chant and do all this stuff. So if you are sensitive to noise, bring your head canceling headphones with you. And then there are the more creative things like flash mobs or art installs. If you have not seen the gold Donald Trump, Jeffrey Epstein, Best Friends Forever statue that was put up across from the Capitol, go online and look for it. It was Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein holding hands and skipping. And they got the necessary permits. They put it up legally. Trump's people took it down the next day. They went back, got another permit, put it back up. And that's what I call resistance. Another great one I saw is an art install in the same place where somebody had carved democracy out of ice and left it in front of the Capitol, and it melted slowly. And that right there is a message. How to chant, support, and stay grounded. So chants, you want to keep them rhythmic and uplifting. No justice, no peace. However, we started a chant at the No Kings protest, fuck Trump. You can't say fuck Trump, fuck Trump. You have to go fuck Trump, space, space, fuck Trump, space, because you got to breathe. So if you want to keep it going, if you have a short protest chant, make sure you take space to breathe, or else the chant's not going to last very long. We found that out. One of my favorite column responses is, show me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. That is always a good one. Support others. Like I said, do a buddy check. Check in with your protest friends if you're standing in the same spot. Do they need some water? Do they need a snack? Are they okay? Amplify the voices of BIPOC and trans and non-binary people. If there is opportunities to speak, let these people speak and be heard. And like I said, and how I have reiterated through this whole class, stay peaceful. Nonviolent protesting works. There is no need to get violent. Now, why it works. We know history has shown that protesting stops autocratic breakthroughs, like I've said before. We are building coalitions to build this movement. Keep it up. Now, the next one, why direct action works, which we just talked about, after the protest. Now, you did it. Now let's sustain the fire. If your cell phone is confiscated, remember, talk to your attorney and see about getting that phone back. Fight back legally, monitor accounts, and learn from the day. One of my favorite protest things to do is I look at everybody's posts. I look at everybody's signs. I look at all the big crowds in the big cities. I look at the small crowds in the big, heavy red states. And I get hopeful because I see those people are like me. They are protesting like I'm protesting. They care too. And that makes me feel powerful. Now, protesting builds the movement we need. You are powerful. You are needed. You are necessary. All of us are necessary to protect democracy. If you have the privilege and the ability to be able to protest in person, I encourage you to take it. Take that opportunity, because you know what? What you are doing matters. What you are doing makes a difference. So, that is the end of the class, but I want to see if we have, and these are the resources, but just so you know, if I know that we had some technical troubles and all the slides and stuff did not get up, I have put all of the resources, the videos, and the PowerPoint slides and my notes in a Google Drive. So if you want to download these notes and do this class yourself, do it. That's why I make them available for free. I want this information out there. So please take the information, use it how you will. All right, do we have any questions from the Zoom or here at the Eagle? Okay, I'll give you another minute. Now, if you want to contact us, the best way to get in contact with us, all of our socials and everything, is our website, botgfl.com. Okay, so anything that you may need, feel free to email me or reach out on one of the socials. We also have 2 new chapters. We have a California chapter and we have a New Jersey chapter now. So if you are in either one of those states and you are interested, we have a section on the website now called Chapters and the Facebook group to join for each of those chapters so you can get connected in your local community. Do we have any questions? All right. Now, I always end our classes on a song that I feel is very soothing, very calming. It takes our energy from up here and brings it down to where we can feel centered and grounded in ourselves, and we can go out and fight the good fight. So we're going to sing this 3 times. Feel free. Oh, hold on. We got a question.
No, somebody just made a comment. Why are you so amazing?
Why am I so amazing? You know why I'm so amazing? I got scared. I got scared our democracy was going away. And that fear turned to anger. And that anger turned to resolve. And that resolve turned to action. That was me becoming an activist. It started with fear and it morphed to power. So thank you for that, Infinity. All right, anything else? All right, we're going to do our chant now. I'm going to sing it 3 times. Feel free to join me if you want. If not, thank you so much for coming today. All right, ready? Let's take a deep breath in and out. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Loosen, loosen, baby. You don't have to carry the weight of the world in your muscles and bones. Let go, let go, let go. Let go, let go, let go. Thank you so much. Yay! Yay!